Alrighty, okay, so a while back somebody had in the comments asked if I could do some experiments with Phase Plant. That is a synth, a deep synth by Kiloheartz, and I haven't had a chance to mess around with it much. I just recently got it finally, so I figured, what the hey, let's switch things up. I kind of like, some of these requests that people, are making, and it's giving me just sort of a starting off point, which is fun. Oftentimes when you're sketching, you don't have somebody else, sort of, you know, jamming with you, quote unquote, if you will. I mean, when somebody says, "Hey, let's try this thing," with as far as an art project or music sketch goes, to me that feels a bit like jamming. It's kind of like you're feeding off each other's ideas in a way. So, anyways, it's a lot of fun, and I don't normally do this, so I say we just bust it out and give it a shot and see where we get. And again, I'm not super familiar with this. I've used and have many of the Kiloheartz plugins. I think a lot of them are amazing. I really love their pitch effect. Their comb and resonator are both really nice and produce a really crisp, interesting sound, especially when automated. To me, it's very important when using plugins. Do they sound really good when you're automating them? Because that's ultimately where we're going to get our most interesting and fun sounds. And if you automate knobs and you get a bunch of digital clicks and zipper sounds, well, to me, that just usually, for most cases, doesn't sound very interesting, and it's a bit grating on the ears. So anyways, here's Phase Plant. And I assume, when we do automate stuff in here, it'll sound just as smooth as all the other Kiloheartz plugins I have. I also like the Kiloheartz Reverser. That's a great one. So wow, okay, we got a lot of presets here. It's interesting that it doesn't load up anything. I'm sure there's a way to make a default so that when you can, immediately start to play stuff right out of the gate. I do feel like instrument effects should all have a default so that you can immediately just, you don't have to drill down or whatever. So let's just try analog. That's nice. We click once, we get a preset. That's cool. That's too bad we don't have a drop down here. Of course, this is a VST2. I'm all about the old vintage VST2s. I'll probably switch over to VST3 at some point, but until then, I'm just going to remain like an old plug-in geezer. So I want to try to see if I can swap or flip through these presets using program change messages. To me, that's a very important aspect of plugins. So we can obviously use the arrow keys and kind of just... It is nice that you get a nice clean sound when you switch presets. So performing live, that's really important that things sound really clean as you're flipping through different presets, so it doesn't sound super digital and gross. All right. And in Live 11, I think they moved some things around. So let's see, we've got program 1, bank 1, and we need to route this to our operator. This is just a part of the standard procedures that I like to do when I first start messing around with plugins. I usually like to see, can I use program change messages to move around the presets? Because that's a huge thing for me is being able to like automate or use follow actions to change presets. And I can see a little dot here, which means we're getting a MIDI program change message going through, but I don't see anything happening in here, which is a little unfortunate. I feel like plugin coders are just dropping the ball when they don't have some kind of functionality in there that allows us to switch around the presets, especially for live performancing. I think it's super important to have the ability to swap presets during a live performance versus having to have a million iterations of the plugin itself, which is a bit clunky. It's not a very good smooth workflow or efficient workflow. So anyway, enough ranting about that one silly little preference on my part. Nobody else out there cares. Everyone's like, just get to it. So let's see, we've got a whole lot of presets out the gate. And I got some of the other preset packs too, just because I do think presets are really great. I like to go to the effects sections first, because I feel like you can really get a sense of the far out character. Wow, that's nutty. Okay, so I'm curious. So it looks like we got some samples in there. That's cool. I know we have a series of options here. We've got analog, noise, sampler, filter. I mean, this thing is a beast. Look at this whole effects section. Now, this is the kind of stuff I really love. And this whole modular, looks like we've got a randomizer, LFO, an envelope, other types of LFOs. I like that we can, yeah, I gotta get on another preset. That one's, you know, I'm sure we could make something out of that. Like, as you've seen, we've been able to sculpt stuff out of white noise and oh wow, that's making me paranoid. Fun. I feel like I'm watching a movie and I've got there's the Dolby surround logo. It just popped up with that cool sound. Oh, no, that one's fun. I like that one. Yeah, whenever dealing with new instruments or plugins, I try to go through the presets just to get the general sense of what its range is. And it looks like from all these sets of different genres or whatever categories, we have a ton of options here. But looking under the hood, it seems that we obviously with all these different waveform and analog and FM, it seems like the analog sampler, it looks like there isn't a dedicated FM, which I'm surprised, but maybe one of these others can handle that. Yeah, maybe we could just put LFOs on things and create a sort of FM sound that way. But maybe that's just not the direction they wanted to go with. I do notice that we have these macros. I want to see what we can. Let's go back to this effects here. And it is cool. Actually, I do want to just take a listen to some of these drums. So this thing has a really nice range. Any instrument, no instrument in my opinion is worth its salt unless it can make a lot of percussion sounds, unless it can make a whole range of sounds like this. Effects, percussions, pads, leads, basses. Yeah, that's a good time right there. Ha! Wow, okay, so this must be using the sampler. Or just a whole bunch of, wow, okay, so that's some smart, I guess you could say programming right there. Wow, okay. Sounds just like the old school modem. Nice. So that's a fun one. That's cool. It almost reminds me of some of that MPE stuff that Live 11 can do with the samplers and the wavetable. Really hoping they add MP3 MPE support. Wow, some really intense designed sounds here. Yeah, I wish it was a little different every time you pushed play. It sounds a lot of these are a bit static. As in, every time you hit the keys, you kind of hear the same thing over and over again. All right, let's try some of these pitched way down an octave. I oftentimes like to hear what synths do pitched up really high. And this one kind of almost sounds like the pitching way down and up high like I just did on this last one didn't really affect it. So now I'm just like as low as my little keyboard will let me go. Very nice textures in there. Yeah, this sounds like some video game. And tape texture. Fascinating. Well, I am impressed with the range this thing is pushing out. Now this is as low as my keyboard will let me go. And that is as high as it lets me go. And if we want to get even nuttier as far as pitches, we can always try to push this thing way up. A lot of these don't let it go past a certain point anyway. And it looks like that is all the effects we have. I wish there were more, honestly. That's the fun stuff for me. I get that most people, when they're making music, just want the basic stuff. They want to, you know, sound like everybody else in some ways. I understand that because, you know, listeners really go for familiarity. So it makes sense. Also, producers do too, you know, and I think that's a pretty common trait. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think you got to start somewhere, and most all of us are copycatting in the beginning and even throughout. When the experienced ones of us are sometimes we hear things we like and we try to emulate it. And we know full and well we're going to get a different result, but it's at least a starting point, you know. So I feel like it's a bit like a crutch or, you know, mild training wheels to listen to a song and be like, okay, I want to try to emulate some bits of that. You know, as long as we can sort of craft it and make it sound like our own thing at the end of the day, I think that's what matters the most. And of course, by end of the day, I mean by the end of the sketch or the end of the song, it ends up sounding like our own. But don't get me started. Trying to create your own sound is like a whole several books worth of techniques and ideas. And all right, so I think let's just start with this analog bass. Let's just do something really simple. We'll get the arpeggiator in there. I think that's an easy starting point. And before we do this, I need to go ahead and save into my project folder, so that way Ableton will let us access everything else using this folder icon right here. Wow, 57. We're just continuing the climb. I think it's I was not expecting to get this far, so that's a lot of fun. Just thinking about like, where are we going to go with this? Do I have an end goal? Not really. I guess do it until it's boring. I don't know. Do it until I don't get anything out of it anymore. Because for me, the only reason to sketch is to have fun. So, you know, I'm not trying to, there's, you know, definitely no end goal in terms of trying to release this stuff, or, you know, it's just nice to not be attached to that kind of pressure, that kind of extra job. Like, I like this one. This has this very like classic yeah, you can just hear the techno. It's just, it would almost be interesting to make a techno track without a techno beat. I guess that would be maybe more of an ambient track at that point. Let's very acid. Okay. And let's quantize that. And let's just see how we can mess with this really it comes down to what can we automate? Because obviously, you know, if you listen to this sound as we have it right now, you know, it's all good and well, of course, but after like 4 or 5 measures, it's like, where's this thing going? Is it going to change, or is it just going to be like, you know, super boring without much inspiration there? People really do want to hear a subtle amount of change. I mean, I think what makes a song interesting is just to have some twists, some turns. Like when you watch a movie, you know, do you want to watch someone sipping a cup of coffee for 2 hours? No. We need to hear like we need a plot line, you know, we need things to be moving along. So that's where in music, the whole automation thing for me is it carries the plot, if you will. And let's just hit this configure. So this will start to allow us to see some knobs. All right, nothing there. So gain and mix. Okay, so at least we got some global stuff. Let's see, do we have any? If I right click that, do I get an option to? Wow, okay, so that's a little weak. I'm very surprised that we can't. So maybe it's obviously these. Yeah, I was gonna say if these wouldn't let you automate these, that would be absolutely absurd. That would push this plugin, you know, way down on the list of things I might want to go to in terms of. All right, so this thing is getting way too repetitive, so I need to do some things quick before my brain starts to go insane. All right, I like it when it's super duper fast. It almost takes on a whole new life and character of its own. It's good to be listening for those kinds of things while you're sketching around, like what. Like, oh man, where did the techno track go? I can't handle it. Techno is just too easy. I mean, we could bang out a techno track here in less than an hour, and I'm not that it would be a good techno track, but I mean a techno sketch, I should say. I think a finished techno track has a lot more to it, especially if, you know, you're trying to do something a little bit more far-reaching with different changes and twists and new sounds that come in along the way. Yeah, you're going to need to have at least 5 or 6 sketch sessions with one piece before that thing is going to be anywhere near worthy of a level of accomplishment. Okay, where was I going with all this? Filter speed. I feel like this really doesn't do a whole lot. Maybe we need to. So far, my verdict of this is I really love the sounds that it can create, and it looks like internally there's so many options. I definitely do not like the fact that a lot of things cannot be automated. That to me sucks. Now, all of the kiloheartz plugins, you can automate everything, of course. This one seems to be a bit more locked down. Yeah, I would really love to be able to automate all of this. And perhaps I'm missing something. Perhaps there's something that maybe we can automate these things down here. Huh, no. That's kind of a bummer. Kind of bums me out a little bit. It's interesting, we get a... I like... Yeah, let's push the... restart that. When it's pushed way up, it's almost like a whole different vibe, whole different... Well, okay. I mean, from what I've seen with the plugins, there's still a ton of stuff you can do inside of here. That's fun. It sounds like a guinea pig or something. Like a cute synthy creature. Let's see, can we... Yep, cool. So we can... Oh, I guess we have to click the button and then we just pull the knob and then it automatically links it. I do like that. That's nice. Okay, I can get behind some weird. Oh, let's I don't know where that came from. All right, let's get rid of our follow actions panel, and let's try to set up a bit of an odd length there. Okay, cool, and. Very good, very good. Very, sort of circusy techno piece. There's no techno in this, is what you're thinking. Cool, let's get some of this random onto here. Nice. I actually use the disperser, oddly enough, in my video game work with voiceovers. There's a funny thing that happens with microphones when people record their voice. The waveform is all seems unipolar, so you don't get like a, you know, a nice oscillation that goes, you know, you got your line, your zero, and then, you know, like a sine wave kind of goes up and down, up and down. Well, it seems like with a lot of voices that I get in recorded, you know, actors in LA and different places using different mics, sometimes we get these waveforms that only have a unipolar form to them, and strangely enough, the disperser actually turns that into a unipolar sound, so that when you send voices through limiters and compressors and things, it actually helps them respond more naturally, versus a unipolar thing. Things can be compressed when they shouldn't. So I've noticed also this disperser style of effect. I know Waves makes a type of one for that, but used in like Hollywood trailers and things, you almost hear this like, almost sounds like a little bit of a vocoder grit on different announcers and people's voices. It's something I've only started noticing in the last 5 to 10 years when watching movies. All right, let's get a pitch shifter in there. I do love this pitch shifter. I think it's a pretty smooth one and doesn't really kill the CPU too badly. The other pitch shifter that I ultimately adore is the one by Quick Quack, and I actually was using this for the longest time before I discovered the one by Kiloheartz. But these Quick Quacks and Kiloheartz are the best ones out there as far as I've found. You know, there's probably another one hiding out there that I don't. But I like the pitch wheel because you have the timbre as a separate slider, so you can get different effects by moving this one around separately than this one. And you've got these smooth knobs, which, as you can see, it like slowly transitions. And yeah, there's some cool features on this one. It's a bit of a CPU hog, and the best thing about pitch wheel is that you can have this 8-channel MIDI setting, and when you route MIDI into it, you can play on your keyboard 8 notes, and it splits the incoming signal into 8 notes, which to me is a really super feature for doing bizarre stuff. If you send vocals through it and do chords, you can get some really funky sounding, you know. Yeah. So you can see here the notes that I'm playing. Yeah, so pitch wheel, that is a good time. I use that at my day job as well as, you know, in my side projects as well. So okay. Wow, there is so much to work with here. I don't even feel like anywhere close to you know, scratching the surface on this synth. And as much as I, you know, was kind of knocking it, it is actually still really a great sounding synth. I hope they open up more automation options down the road. I suppose I'm just a bit greedy in terms of wanting to automate everything. I don't feel like I should have any limits or restrictions. I will say this is a pretty awesome thing I've noticed in kiloheartz plugins. I do find this pretty rad. I lose every time. I'm really terrible at this game. It's so easy to just not get any work done. So I would give them points. If I was doing any kind of, like, you know, reviewing, I would give, you know, a plugin developer points for just being creative and fun and putting some ridiculous stuff like this in. Clevgran also makes some fun VST based. Oh yeah, see, it's when it gets down to the speed, I can't even forget it. Oh yeah, just got lucky. Anyway, let's get out of here. Good times, good times. Gotta switch it up sometimes, you know? And I'm guessing these... I'm not sure what Poly does for these. I'll have to read the manual, but it seems like maybe... I don't know what. We'll have to read the manual later and find out. Let's link this up here. And it's probably based off of the offset of whatever you... So if we just keep that at 0, then... Cool. I think we also need... I think instead of delay level, I kind of want to make delay time... automatable. I see. So it's delay time. And this one, I guess we could call this pitch. I do think that kiloheartz just sound really nice. They've done a really great job with, you know, the test is if you've worked with a lot of modular stuff or hardware stuff, when you go back to plugins, can you shut your eyes and actually feel that you're working with a piece of hardware? And there are not a ton of plugin developers that give me that sensation of transportation to that. I'm actually listening to something that sounds really smooth and really clean, that is maybe coming off of something that has a super high you know, internal oversampling. Like a lot of modules, physical Euro rack modules have that. And the same with plugins that, you know, claim to be doing analog type processing. It's really hard, especially with distortions. It's hard for me to be transported when I'm doing the like clothes dye and I've got my headphones on. It's a really quiet room and I can really listen to the minute details. Fuse Audio Labs makes some that to me sound really nice. The UAD plugins are honestly the holy grail, the cream of the crop. Expensive, super expensive. I bought the Ultimate bundle and had it for about a month before I determined that the quad octo-core hardware with all their processors on it was not working with my computers. And they had just released that USB 3 version, and I don't think a lot of people had a lot of great luck with that. Like, it would just, the audio signals would just drop like randomly in the middle of it, especially after you had quite a few plugins being automated and going. So for my purposes, like, it sounded absolutely amazing. Some of those smooth and nuanced sounding plugins on the planet. But outside of UAD, there are actually quite a few developers now. But Kiloheartz makes some that to me sound really nice and clean and remind me of some Euro rack module type sounds. And I'm really picky. I'm a super anal audiophile. Okay, cool. Enough about me. I'm gonna group this. This is something that I like to do if I got a preset here, and obviously we could save this. I'm not familiar with how the preset systems in here works. It looks like, I don't know if there's a save as. I don't want to save over this. So I'm just gonna make a duplicate of this here, and I'm going to just shut this one off, and we'll go back to this version here. Actually, let me pull up. Okay, so this is our duplicate version. And I'm just gonna, now that we've got all this weird arpeggiation stuff, gosh, I really wish I could just... I really wish I could automate the flipping through of these. Even with our max patch that we created very early on, where we can load up VST plugins inside that and access the presets, the way they are doing presets in this one, I don't think we'll have that option. It is nice that you get these knobs while you're going through different presets. All right. Complex. And it looks like it's not too terrible on our CPU. We're sending a lot of notes in at once. It's sounding very vaporwave at this point. Oof, yeah, no, that might have been too much CPU right there. 'Cause I'm really not sure if there's even a limit when you're building stuff inside here. Like, can you just keep adding and adding and adding? Maybe so, maybe so. One day I'll have to do a test where we just try to see how far we can take one patch. Wow, this does sound very FM, so whatever. There must be some kind of, even though I didn't see an actual FM synth module inside there, I guess there probably is some way to do cool FM stuff. Alright, so the only way around, I'm going to go ahead and just record into a looper some of this jumping around of presets. And we'll kind of work from that sound. Okay, so I need to remember from the last time. It's been a minute since I did a sketch. All right, let's we get ourselves a nice weird variety here. Wow, you really feel it when you switch presets. I mean, cool. So I guess in this case, we don't need this second variation. I'm just going to leave this one shut off for now. We'll leave it in the project just in case any of you nerds out there happens to have phase plant. Not that my preset was any good, and quite frankly, I haven't really done tests to know if I save this project, does it save my preset in there? I would think so, but Kiloheartz at least should have that base covered. Heck, for as much as they charge their plugins, you'd think we would be able to automate more. I'm definitely starting to realize with, you know, the design of something like this. I mean, granted, this being able to add in as many LFOs and you know, this thing is amazing for that respect. So I think the pluses certainly outweigh the minuses. Awesome. Okay, so I wanted to do something really quick. I want to clean up this loop, just make it a bit, right now it's a pretty heavy file size wise, and for the sake of our, let's see, keeping our project lean, where is that edit button? Maybe it's a right click. Yeah, I've not actually tried to do this in Ableton 11. You know, it could be something over, we have to go over here and hit edit. All right, I guess that was the case. So let's process this down. Let's make it nice in the 80s or 90s sounding lo-fi. Let me normalize it before, hold on, undo that. So we are back to 32-bit. Okay, the best thing to do is to normalize it first. And I like the -0.3 so we don't get any inner sample clipping or whatever. Okay, so let's go to, yeah, nice and fuzzy. I like that fuzz. It's like an old tape or something almost. All right, resample it. We're gonna go, yeah, we're gonna, how low can you go? Cool, and I'll pause this video and we'll, okay, we're back. Done with that annoying little cleanup process. Let's pull this, actually, let me clear this out just in case and pull this in. Importing. All right, let's have a listen. Yep, and I've noticed when we drop in very low sample rate stuff, it plays pretty quickly. Like it speeds it up to whatever the rate of our project is, which is 48. So let's try -24 there. Cool. That sounds about right. Nice and lo-fi. All right, so we don't need this stuff anymore. Delete that. And save that. Yeah, we can see we're still 865, but you know, I think that'll be fine. It is kind of a longer one. It's nice because we get some sweet functionality there. So let's say we'll call this Vapor Looper, and let's make it so that we push play on that. When we push play on this clip, the looper starts to play. So we need to map, or I guess we can't map it. So we need to just show automation for that. And yes, on link. And again, when you automate like this, you have to watch out for this step, which is record. If you hit that, automate in that, you'll lose your sample, which is unfortunate. That I guess there is an undo there, so that's always an option, but cool. So if we stop and this thing is off, then let's try and push play, and yes. Now let's map the speed here, and then also the reverse. Love playing around with this. It's 12. Whoop. Let us just save ourselves some trouble. Minus 24. So maybe we could have it kind of bend down there. And this is how, you know, you can really just hear the sweet Saturday morning cartoon sounds coming out. Of course, you know, people trying to make this sound back then with tapes, you know, before the digital DAW, gosh, this would have taken hours and hours to create a crazy sound like this. Splicing back and forth between multiple tape. All right. Let's check out our regardless of the fact that we're using a very low bit depth and low sample rate sample, as soon as we start adding effects, we're going to transform that. Let's see what we got going on in here. Oh yeah, this is some intense business. All right, let's automate that. Oh, I always forget, we gotta shut that thing first before our hotkeys will work. Nice. Also this one. I wish I could automate 3 or 4 things at once. If I could, I would. I guess probably need some insane max relive patching for that. All right, cool. And this one, last but not least. And let's cool. Let's check out this fake verb in here. Cool. Definitely sounding pretty nuts. Let's put all this before. And let's try slowing everything down, just see what happens. I don't know if this looper is actually set up to even care. Song control, maybe. Yeah, no, we don't want any of that. Follow song tempo, maybe that's... Yeah, that could be the trick. Although strangely, I I don't hear anything coming out of the looper now, so I'm not sure if we just broke it or if we need to do something else. All song control. Let's try to restart things. Maybe we need to restart the looper? Not really sure. I see. So let's see. Record. Maybe this thing is not. Something is fishy going on with this thing. It's not actually set. It's not looping for some reason. So one way we could possibly work around this is is it gonna play? It should. I have an automation in there set to jump from stop. So yeah, maybe we need to put these tiny little stop play marks in there. Pull this off the grid. So maybe that will keep it from, I don't know, trying to stop for whatever reasons. All right, let's automate that. This Reso Beast is definitely very transforming. It does almost too much sometimes. It's one of those gonna have to be left in moderation type of effects. Now, I also had an idea the other day. I had run across this new and free VST plugin. I have to find it first in my free section. Yes, HY makes some pretty fun ones. If I can find it. HY. Gosh, there's so many. My brain just cannot handle it, apparently. This ESG it's like a Gator. HY plugins. Yeah, I highly recommend checking out their stuff. This one also, like the faceplant, has this cool LFO section. Although I wish I could get more LFOs in there. Obviously, the faceplant, it makes me kind of, you know, I'm jealous of that faceplant's ability in this one. So we got to pull our little knob up to get our. Yeah, let's get some rotation going on with some randomization. And so it does what you think it would do. It just gates the sound kind of rhythmically, except this one's cool in that it uses a Euclidean system, which is really unique. I have not seen that one before. At least not in a VST plugin form. I'm pretty sure there's some Max for Live options there. So this is nice. Like, you know, we like to use, not that one, the tremolo here, which makes a nice kind of a way of sort of dropping the sounds out every now and then. So why not use both? And I definitely want to put in a sort of wet dry. Of course, we've lost a lot of our we really lost a lot of the original sample that we're working with in the looper there. So we can just select all of these and drag them into our wet dry on off rack and kind of get them going in parallel. So yeah, HYESG624, that's a fun one. I recommend it. All right, cool. Let's summon an operator to work side by side with that. And I think we also need a limiter. Which, gosh, did I map a limiter in auto hotkeys? I can't remember. We've got a gate, we've got... Oh, what was that? Ah, no probability gate. We don't really need any of this to be on anymore. Okay, so we got our, oh, didn't want to delete that. We've got our limiter there. Let's pull this down overall, or summon a utility. I do sometimes wish the limiter had, I guess we can adjust the ceiling, but it had an output gate gain. That's okay. The limiter can do that. All right. Kind of hearing a little noise. Let's unlink that as always. That's our hater. Hatter. And let's bring in some video. Had that kind of hiding out in the background. I forgot to bring it in. Whatever. Keeping it loose here. We're not really trying to impress anybody. Just trying to learn some new things, try out some new things, get some new ideas going. But video does really help me with that get some new ideas going part. I'm probably the only one on the planet that does things this way, but you know what? That's what you should aim for, I guess, in terms of trying to have a unique sound for what it's worth. Because God knows there's enough repeaters out there. But again, I still think that's okay, you know? I mean, it's all a part of the conversation and process. We're all just, you know, trying to sound a little bit like, you know, the next guy that had that sound that was amazing, that inspired us, or maybe had that sound that got really big and famous, and we want to try to achieve those goals too. Got to start somewhere. You got to have some impetus, even if it's not 100% pure. Some people are all just like, I just want to make money. Gotta eat. So I totally understand that angle. Yay. Okay, I like this. I like this weird. Alright, let's just duplicate that. What the hell? See if we can just transform this thing into a kick. As you've seen, it's really easy to make kick sounds. I am curious also if we can actually convince a kick to come out of this operator. And I think for this one we probably want to like delete some of this. Let's try a different filter. Oh yeah, we got some nice shapers we discovered. Not normally, you know, I don't normally use the white noise to make a kick. But with this shaper, you can definitely use it to make a little freaky, funky bass line. Yeah, let's get that loop. So every now and then we get that pitch up. So let's summon a auto pan and sync it up. Gotta definitely move your effects around in the chain just to hear what kind of different things you can get. I'm always surprised at some of the cool stuff that I can extrapolate when doing that. Let's move these actually over here onto this facer. Okay. So I guess that kick wasn't really too kicky after all. You guys are thinking, finally, there's that techno again. That's what I've been looking for this whole time. Oh, sounds like my alarm clock in the morning. Jesus. I like this juicy sounding, slurpy sounding, Hey, what is going on there? I just wanted to copy this little section. Holy crap. Okay, let's control. Wow, so some of my hotkeys definitely need to be fixed for Ableton 11. I don't know what they... Yeah, Control D seems to double the... Huh. duplicate loop, duplicate time, Control Shift D. I see what I have to do now. All right, Control Shift. Ah, Ableton, why you gotta go messing with all that? Control D. Oh, weird. Okay, duplicate. Oh man, I don't know what's happening here. I'm so confused. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna unlink that and here we go. Oh, that alarm clock! It's just so many bad memories of college and. Yeah, the filters on the operator sound really nice when you do some really tight, maniacal shaping of the, yeah. You can really get some weird sounding. Cool. We need probability in here, so let's. I definitely think 100% at least on some of these. It is nice that we get per note control in this. I'm still a big fan of the basic, you know, using the MIDI, these two MIDI effects together, because we can automate that. Can't really automate, you know, what's going on inside of the clip with the probabilities. So I think there's a good happy medium of using both. We could use both in this case if we want. Let's see, was it control? Yes, control draws out the. We don't get a range for probability on notes, but we do get at least a random range for velocities. In fact, most of these deserve just some randomness. And I think I'll leave this at 100% and only have it modulate down every now and then. I think modulation in moderation. That is the key. All right. What is going on here? So I guess we can. I'm going to just bring in an empty operator. I'm going to move it over here as a secondary layer chain. Let's pitch this sucker way down. Give it more of a tail. Let's see if we can get... Now that I'm doing this, I'm thinking, well, we could just, you know, drop in a drum bus in there. But it was sounding pretty insane with this second layer here. Yes, this hatter needs help. I've read your mind. If that's what you were thinking. Well, I was certainly thinking it. Yes, let's trash these two parameters. Parameter trashing is, not what I wanted to do. Definitely my pastime. Preset thrashing and parameter trashing. Pretty much what I want on my tombstone. on those. Don't want any downtime. Let's just have a look in there. Ah, that's my downtime right there. Well, let's go ahead and just drag that into there. Let me clean this up really quick. And then same with this one. I guess we could copy all of this. And then drag this in there. Clean this up. Yeah, let's get these going to the beat. Yeah. Yep, let's automate this one to the beat as well. We'll do this every third. Phaser right before here. Not sure if that's the sound we're going for. Super spacey, sci-fi. Yeah, I'm not sure where all the new plugins or whatever, not plugins, but I guess these are plugins. Yeah, effects from. I had them all set up to work with in the gray filter, but I noticed they're gone. I was going to pull up one of the new modulators. No, pitch modulator. Yeah, of course. Yeah, see, we've lost our gray. That's very strange. It must be a bug. I'm not sure what's causing that. Let's automate this one right here. Sometimes it can be a little clicky. I hear ya. This kick is calling to me. Modulate me. But I don't know what that means. How do we want to modulate this thing? I was kind of hearing, maybe experimenting with this and hopefully hoping for the best. Well, let us delete these. I don't think we need. That is an interesting sound that's coming out of this now. Cool, let's get that res kicking up every now and then. So we got kind of a mix of timbres there. The high res up though on 125% is it's like a whole other type of subtlety, a whole sound that we get out of this that's different. All right, now I'm actually hearing that phase plant in there again with that sweet FM sound we were working with right in the very beginning. Citric acid, that's the one. Now, let's drop a arpeggiator on that one. Yeah, there we go. Knight Rider. I kind of like that. Cool. Let's see where we can get with that. You never know. It's all a crapshoot. And that's what makes it so much fun. There is no such thing as failure, as far as I'm concerned. Not in the sketch. Let's see what happens when we play with these. I don't think they have the best spread of effects mapped to this particular preset. Let's modulate this filter speed one, because I think it actually sounds like it's doing something. It's subtle, but not getting the acid squeal I would hope for. Possibly a saturator on there will give us a similar type of squeal. The Wave Shaper produces some really fascinating FM type. That up, a link, get in there. Try something really fast and furious. Not sure what this will sound like, but you're kind of garbling up the works there. Now, when you modulate stuff to the beat, and you've got a bunch of different modulations happening at different pacings, really cool rhythmic stuff can jump out at you. Kind of an aggro piece. I almost, want to hear some really cheesy muted trumpets or something, some kind of cheesy muted trumpet solo in there, like jazzy. I think that'd be hilarious. All right, phaser flanger, what can you do for us on this kick? Probably too much of something. Just trash it. I like that. I like. Yeah, this is definitely encroaching into noise territory. Noise, more like a noise. Am I right? Right. All right. Enough of the dumb humor. We gotta wrap this thing up soon. try pulling down this secondary. All right, that is definitely some kind of bass. Fine. So we need that thing to cut off. Oh, I don't know. Let's do 16 measures here, and we'll definitely have it cut off. So have it cut off right there for a measure. Give everyone a little break. It should cut off right at the very end there for a couple of beats. Yeah, so it's not so continuous. Now I'm like, yeah, dealing with this, with these keyboard shortcuts not being, not working properly. It seems to work here. I guess it's when we have notes in here. When I hit Control D, I don't know. I don't know what I was doing wrong earlier. It's all a learning process. You got to screw up to learn stuff. Yeah, you can come in every now and then. I like that every now and then. Maybe for a little bit longer. Here we go. Let's just turn it into like smooth jazz, ambient techno nonsense. Let's stop that and see if we can just pull in whatever garbage I was just playing from using this feature. Compressor with sidechain. Next stop. We'll just grab this from our techno-ish section. Oh, we don't want to audition that. I'm so used to doing that. Yeah, sometimes just like a really simple sounding sine wave, you know, is all it takes. Or saw wave, you know, just like something really simple like this, coupled next to a bunch of complex and odd moving types of sounds and rhythms can be grounding. It can kind of pull things together. Yeah, this is a bit of a stacked piece. There's probably a lot we could do to like tame it. For example, there's a lot of bass. Like this one, we may not need all the bass, to be honest. We've got a lot of bass coming off of this. And maybe we just want the rhythmic and the high-end stuff happening. Let's A/B in this, A/B this EQ on and off in here. Yeah, this definitely clears up some things. In fact, I think I want it even tighter. And let's control and copy over. Give this a tighter attack sound. Cool. What happens if we drop a little bit of a hybrid reverb? Is that in here? I know it looks like it's not. That's a bummer. I'm not really sure what's going on with me losing my, probably just some growing pains there with Ableton 11. Yeah, now it feels like we're in the club. I'm gonna control and drag this limiter over here so we get dual limiting, compressing. It's a bizarro technique. All right, so you know it's not as expressive as I would like it to be. I think another hour of messing around with this, we would probably end up, you know. There's still some really cool sounds and moves happening every now and then. It's got a nice, almost positive, fun, like, you know. Ooh, I like that dropout. Glad we added that dropout in there. That was a good move. I think that was this right here. Yeah. Cool. So yeah. Who knows? Maybe we'll pick this back up, use this as a starting point for another sketch down the road, and just see if we can take it off into even more far out zones. Yeah. So until next time, as always, keep it weird, keep it stress-free, keep it fun, get your sketch on, make excuses to just doodle. All right, take it easy.